I welcome you all to this what we call it, breakfast meeting. Hopefully everyone has already got some breakfast. So we'll have the topic today, which are go global, and we have the meeting is all digital. We have people attending from different places in Norway and also from Ukraine and Czech. So we will do it in digitally this time. My name is Karl Olav Nordengen, and I'm head of sales and customer engagement in Create Norway, and I will be one of the speakers as well. I have with me Yngve Nilsen from offshore Norge, senior advisor there, and he will give us some thoughts about how they and what they are doing regarding the nearshore and use of that kind of resources in their projects. And we have Oleg, so head of cognitive computing in Ukraine. He will attend digitally. And we have Thomas, he's here in the meeting with us, head of software engineering from Czech. And as well, we have Kåre, the top boss of Create, also attending in the meeting room, and Karen, head of marketing. So that's that's the people here today. So welcome all. Short introduction about the agenda. It's we'll do this a little low key, because if there are questions, if there are comments and so on, we can take that during the meeting. That's no problem. So I will do a brief introduction to this team before Yngve from Offshore Norge will give us his thoughts about and their experiences about use of resources from Ukraine. And Thomas and Oleg will tell us about the resources and capacity we have in Ukraine and Czech and all over the world else as well. And we will wrap up at the end. I think we will finish the meeting in 15 minutes past 9 or latest half past 9. So that is the agenda for today. So then let's just move on. Let me know if there are bad sound or if there are things that not are up to the qualities we want them to be. So just let me know. First of all, a little introduction about Tietoevry Create specifically, and also the overall challenge we see regarding this issue. So first of all, this is probably known for you all, but a little brief overview of the company. In total, we have about 24,000 professionals globally, and you see on the map here where we are, where we have our centers, the global delivery centers and the customer deliveries and the Nordics. And Thomas and Oleg will come more into the global part of it later on. But we have a lot of customers, a lot of important customers, which gives us the opportunity to deliver good projects and also give us a lot of learning, which our job is to take that out to the customers. So it doesn't, to be big isn't the biggest, it's not the most important thing. It's the most important thing for us is to bring the competence to our customers. So that is why we have this meeting today. And we have customers in all 90 countries worldwide, and we also invest a lot in technology each year, and that is also something that is good for the society as well. So just a little information about how we are set up today. We have this color on top. The Tietoevry Create is where the part of the company we come from. I'll say something a little bit more about that later. And we have Transform, which are the company who are doing the applications and the software, the standard solutions and the ERP and the CRM and stuff like that. And we have the Connect part of the company, which are more or less the platform company, which are doing the infrastructure and all the things that makes things work on the bottom of the stack. And we also have some industry-specific areas, banking, care, and industry. But for now, it's Create, which are the thing we want to focus on. So we are a global partner for business design, data, and software engineering. I think you all know that you're attending this meeting, and we want to be a part of the customer's journey to realize, to make them do all the good things regarding digitalization and taking them forward the next step and doing cool stuff with new solutions and stuff like that. That is what we do. I will also show some examples on that later. So I don't think I will spend that much time, more time on that now, before we dive more deeply into it with Thomas and Oleg later on. And this is some of the customers we have globally. There are also some Norwegian customers here. We have Equinor, Felleskjøpet, Offshore Norge is also in this slide, and we have a lot of other big logos which we are working closely with. So, and that gives us, as I said, the opportunity to learn about the customer and also use that to other customers to bring it out, all the learnings we have done. So that's it. I have one little video I want to show you as an introduction to today's team, and hopefully it will work. So hopefully the sound is also good. So I will just run this video for you now and see if it works now.
Il existe ikke før ord arbeidsmiljø, samarbeid, og det ser ut at det veldig viktig å jobbe sammen og ha en positiv situation for å jobbe effektivt. Og jeg så det også på skolen faktisk med barna mine. Jeg var veldig overrasket i begynnelsen da jeg møtte læreren, at vi snakket mest om den miljø og ingen på akademikk og var karakter av barna mine. Og i Frankrike fokuserer bare på karakternivå og ingenting andre enn det. Så det var veldig interessant å forstå at når du bygger opp en god samarbeid, en god miljø, du forstår at folk mer effektive og barna lærer mye mer enn når det litt stress.
It's fantastic to work with Norwegians. There are many sort of qualities, when it comes to Norwegian colleagues and people I have. But I think the two most important I would like to highlight is they're very caring and very genuine. So when I say, does it mean that people across other countries are not that way? But I think when it comes to a combination of both these, this is quite unique about the colleagues I have, so that's what I like working with Norwegians the most.
Yes, so I've learned two things, of course. The first thing I learned is there is no bad weather, only bad clothing. So put on the tight clothes and you're out there and you can do anything. And I would say, yes, I'm learning to accept that and bring it into practice more. And the second was Norwegians are born with skis. So now I can see that. So not the skis are on right now with me, but I think I'm slowly going there with skating and with cycling and with hiking, new things in my life. So yes, very good with that, I think.
Okay. Probably we'll just. Sorry.
This video was sponsored by
2 seconds here, so just share it again. Yes, can you all see the screen now? Okay. So that was just a little video showing some people working in Norway from our global resources. So they are doing pretty well, I think, and they also get into the culture pretty well, and they do a great job for our customers. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But now just a little reflection or some facts regarding this team, and it's all has something to do about the competence gap, because digital competence is about to become a major bottleneck to the transformation of Norway. So we need more IT experts, and we need to find good solutions to meet these challenges over time. But at the same time, the capacity we have is too low. So the fact is that we need more experts. We need to find them. We need to educate them and do all the stuff that brings them into our community and out to the customers. And there's a big challenge for us in Norway. So how could we fix that? That is the question we want to address a little bit about today. And in Norway, there are about 35 persons in Norway who has taken higher education. Is it high? Is it low? I don't know, but it's not that high. We are in fact about 5.5 or 6 million people in Norway, and that is not that many people that take higher education. So we need to do something about that as well. And we know that we have a lack of tech experts upcoming, approximately 15 to 20,000 the next few years. So we need to fill that gap in some kind of way. And we know also that there were 7,126 applications for higher education last year regarding the research that NHO has done in Norway. And it was only 2,299 available studies. So that also shows us that we have a challenge regarding to train and educate higher skilled people in Norway. We don't have enough capacity also in the school system. And but we are educating more and more people as much as we can. But in the digital arena, this is Norwegian, but it's NHO's which has done this thing, and they're saying that the companies have in stor grad not covered their needs for IT competence, and 39% says in noen grad to some extent. And so this shows also the problems for the members of the NHO, that there are a lack of competence in Norway. And this is what they say, what they do to fix the gap then. And they are they're hiring a lot of consultants. 48% does that, and they also have outsourcing of services for 42%. And it's to some kind of extent also that they educate their own people to take part of this. But one thing I was just reflecting on when I was reading this, what was missing, and no one tells us that they are going to use nearshore or that kind of stuff to fix this gap. It could be that they are putting that into the hire of consultants in the top 48%, but I don't think that's enough on the agenda. A lot of customers are start doing it, but also we need to get everyone else get their eyes open for it. So that is a job we have to do now, and we're starting today with this seminar. So this just shows some of the challenge we have. And this is a sum up, in fact, that 1 or 2 customers is short of digital experience. That is the fact. And they are hiring, 1 or 2 are hiring, as I said, 48% hiring external consultants to close the gap. And they estimate missing about 15,000 engineers and technically skilled people in Norway next coming years. So we need to fix that. And in Tietoevry Create, we have a lot of ways to fix that. And one of them we're going to talk about today. We have our local practices here, cloud data design, software engineering, where we have resources all over the place. In Norway, we have a lot of resources, but we also have to the right side here in Europe and in Infopulse, a lot of resources which could help our customers to fill that gap. And that is some kind of a bridge over to today's team, where Offshore Norge and Thomas and the people from Ukraine and Czech are going to talk about this. So this is just to bridge a little bit into today's team. But it is a challenge, and we need to fix it, and we need to help our customers to fix it. And that is pretty important for us as a big company to solve. So the first out to speak is Yngve in Offshore Norge. So I don't know if you are ready, Yngve.
Yes.
I have put your slides into the deck, so I could help you to click if you want that.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
I think you know the slides, so go. You can present yourself first then. Okay.
Yeah, let me do that. Okay, yes. So my name is Yngve Nilsen. I work for Offshore Norge, and I guess people have heard about Offshore Norge. It's previously Norsk Olje og Gass. So we're basically what in the news they call the oljelobby. Yes, so that's us. But we also do other things, and I'll explain that for you now during a couple of slides. So my role is as a service manager for quite a few services and common services that we have developed together with you guys, and also some other companies for the industry. So a little bit about Offshore Norge first, if people are not up to speed about that. So we are our functions is as a member association, and the main topics that we are covering is the employers association. So when they are discussing, salaries and so on, we represent the employer side in those negotiations and so on. And also we are an interest organizations towards governments and so on. So this is the olje lobbyists that walk around in the parliament and talk about all the money the oil industry creates and all the workplaces and everything. So that's some of my colleagues are doing that. And then the third thing, which is related to what we are doing together with you in Tietoevry, is the collaboration projects in the industry. What was discovered a few years back, and it was also reported in Concraft reports and other bits and other reports, was that overall the oil and gas industry was operating with a too high cost compared to other industries. So then the industry started to look at, okay, what can we do to get down the operating cost. Of course, it's been nice to be in the oil industry because it's a lot of money there, and they can afford to do things in the expensive way. But in between 5 and 10 years ago, the focus started to be on working smarter for the oil industry as well. And that's where this kicks in related to these common services, where we have services that will make sure that the oil industry is operating in a smarter way to be more cost effective compared to other industries. And included in that is also, IT, the IT side, the digitalisation side of the processes. So that's what we're going to focus now, and that's where Offshore Norge has a place related to make sure that the industry works in a smarter way. And then I guess we can go to the next slide. What I'm going to explain a little bit about these services, because this is the services that we are working together with Tietoevry around. Offshore Norge has in total, I think 20 services. So here we are representing 5 of them. But all the 20 services is related to, gas production systems that show how much gas we are producing, for instance, and geology data is another service that the operators are working around and so on. But what we are going to talk about now is these services. So first of all, this represent what we call the equipment and an inventory part of our deliveries, and I'll explain why that is. So first of all, in this ecosystem for data sharing with equipment and inventory, we have EcoHub. EcoHub is delivered not by Tieto at the moment, but there is a tender process going where Tieto is invited to make a bid, and the selection process will happen in the end of this year. But EcoHub is a system for equipment data sharing. So the way the industry is working today related to documenting equipment is that they have different requirements, all the operators for all the projects, and what they end up with is that they're getting duplicated documented data for the same equipment over and over again. So what we have done is to create a system where all manufacturers, everyone who produces components, they fill in equipment data into EcoHub, and then they are sharing it between themselves, and that saves enormous cost for the industry related to document handling, data quality, and so on. And then we have Magnet JQS, which is the pre-qualification system that was developed by Evry, or Tietoevry now. We started that in 2017, and I think it was maybe the quickest delivery we as an industry has had related to these kind of services, and this is quite complex, but we managed to deliver it together with you guys in just 1 year, and within the first half year we had over 2,000 suppliers registered in this solution. So I think we had a good, and we will talk about that in the next slide, but we had a good thing going related to that delivery together with you guys. And then we have the virtual inventory. That's a service where all 12 operators on the NCS that has operations of assets platforms, they share the inventory. So if Aker BP needs a part and they don't have it on their own warehouse, they can search in virtual inventory and see if some of the other operators have that part, and if they have, they can request it, and then they can share that between themselves. And in today's market, with everything going on in the world, it's long lead time on some of these critical components for operating the assets. So sharing between the operators is very effective, and we have actually achieved quite a few avoided downtime of operating assets because of these solutions, and it's saved enormous cost. An asset not operating, we're talking hundreds of millions a day of loss in oil and gas production. And then related to the virtual inventory, we have this critical function. That is when if you're a manager for a platform and it's a critical part missing, it's a risk for downtime and so on, you can send a request and it will go a warning through our systems that we have developed with you guys on SMS and through apps and so on, to a community of people from representing the other operators. And the agreement is that when they get this warning, they will stop everything they do and help their colleague in this other company to find a part and see if they can release that part and ship it out to the asset and make it going. And we also have quite a few examples of success stories here as well from using critical. And then in this ecosystem, we also have this loop. We are starting the development together with you guys now these days, and the loop is related to surplus material. The oil and gas industry, they have a lot of old materials, and also after bigger projects and bigger greenfield projects, they have a lot of surplus materials that they need to get rid of. So this loop system, what we're doing there is to align a lot of brokers and also recycling companies, where they can go into this portal, find components which they can resell or buy and use themselves and so on. So everything here is related to handling suppliers and the requirements for the suppliers, and handling materials in an efficient way and in a common way. And to be able to do this, they need good systems, and they need to share data, and they need the data quality. And this is the portfolio that we have developed together with Tietoevry, with I would say quite big success so far. So I guess we can go to the next slide. And this is just a slide to show the history of our time working together. So we started with a tender process in 2017 for this qualification system from offshore Norway. We were called EPIM at the time, but we have had several merging and things like that, but it's still the same. And then Evry at that point was selected after a very good process by Oleg. He made a very good sales job in some of these meetings. and the operators was they decided to select Tietoevry. So we started that process in 2017, and we established the contract, I think, in the end of 17. And then we delivered the 1st of October 2018. Then we were live with this quite complex solution, and it was Oleg and Denise's team that developed this solution. And we got a lot of, during that process, it was a lot of people who were skeptical to our plan and and the short delivery time and so on, but we managed to do it, and we have only received well done from everyone and from the whole industry about this delivery, and this goes especially back to Oleg, Denise and his team that delivered this in a very good way. And then we started to work with this sharing economy project in the industry, where they were looking at this competing, as I mentioned, from the Konkraft report, this competition and this scenario to decrease the cost on the way the operators were operating. And we were working with that project, and through that project we managed to grow a few deliveries, which was critical, virtual inventory and subquip. And then it was decided in that project, the industry collaboration project, that okay, but we need to establish some services around it. And then we from Offshore Norway took over the whole project, and we defined critical as a delivery, virtual inventory and subquip, and also loop. And in that, we then, since we had such a good relationship with Magnet JQS, we were allowed to go directly to Denise and his team and start development of these systems. So then we developed Critical as this critical request handling tool, which is quite simple tool in that respect, but it makes a big impact. And then we started virtual inventory, and it was delivered in 2021. It's a bigger system and more complex system. And then during this journey together, we started to establish a very good working environment between ourselves. And from Offshore Norway, we had a big need for communicating these services, because virtual inventory, if no one is using it, we won't have the effect, So we started to talk to several companies, but then we discovered that Tieto also had this marketing department that could help us out, which was extremely good. And this is just an example on this slide, but we have made a lot of good videos and marketing material together with Tietoevry for all of these services. And I must say I'm quite impressed by the delivery from that team, to be honest, and the way they understand how to communicate this, and it's been a very good help for us. So here's just an example from our, we have our own YouTube channel where we communicate all webinars and videos and so on. So I think this is quite cool. And I think they also like to work with us because, we don't put strict frames around it. We want them to use their, creativity to help us out here. And then, of course, the oil and gas industry is quite, they like to work in the old-fashioned way, right? So we are challenging them a little bit with what we're doing here, but it's well received what we're doing. And then moving forward, as I said, we have started to develop this loop system, and also we have started with a small system called TIRK. It's a technical requirement portal that will be implemented with EQ Hub and also virtual inventory and Magnet. So that is to visualize at any state the requirement for the suppliers on what documented data they're going to deliver. So we will start the development of that or loop and TIRK these days. And then, as I said, there is a tender process with EQ Hub, but that's a competition because it's such a big project. So we don't know who that will go to at this stage, but it's a process going. And then I would also like to mention that when this war broke out in Ukraine, we were very concerned about our very good. We have such a good team that sometimes we forget about. We are offshore Norway and they are Tietoevry. We work so very well together. But then when the war broke out, it was very hard. And I think we wanted to be as flexible as possible and make sure that the team had as much as work as possible to keep the momentum and keep them going in their jobs, because we thought that losing their jobs as well in all of these things that they experience wouldn't be a good thing. So we have done what we can to help out in that respect as well. And then of course we need to run the professional way related to this tendering process and so on for the new stuff. But for now we are trying from our end to keep them as busy as possible. And it's a need. We have the need, so this is a win-win for us for this year. But what I also would like to mention is that in this working together, we received a request from Ukrainian government through EU related to materials that they need in Ukraine, destroyed materials for infrastructure, for power creation, and so on. And we have a collaboration with IOGP, which is an international type of offshore Norway, and we work together with them with this requirement list from Ukraine, where they have listed, I think it was 10,000 different components that they needed. And then we were working with IOGP and we thought, okay, how to do with this? Should we just distribute this list to all operators in the world and ask if they can check their warehouses, if they have, surplus material that they could donate, or how do we do it? So what we did in offshore Norway was that, okay, instead of sending this to all 12 operators, this list, we matched it against the content in virtual inventory together with the team. And then the team also built in some logic and data science logic into this automatic checking. So that ended up that we received a list of the requirement, but also, okay, this matches this in virtual inventory, and it's Equinor who is the owner of this and Aker BP is the owner of this. So we created that report and we had meetings with operators, and then they started a process to start to release components that they have on shelf that can be of help for Ukraine. So this was quite a smart way of working, and I think IOGP was quite impressed by how efficient, just in a couple of days we could show that the whole continental shelf had these components from this and these operators, and after 6 months the IOGP is still struggling to find the components because they're looking one by one and so on. So this shows the strength of what we have delivered together with you guys, and it shows an example of the strength of data and the way of working together with these solutions. And also it was very good to work with the team because the team was of course highly motivated to do this job. So they worked on their own time, and we have been allowed to use the data from virtual inventories. So myself and the team have been working on our own time in afternoons and weekends and so on to find matches of materials through these systems and followed up with the operators so they can ship donated materials to Ukraine. So I just wanted to say that, and it shows the very good relationship that we have with the team, and it shows how well we can work together even during a war, basically. So I think this is good. So this is basically the history together, and yeah, we've been through quite a lot. And as I said, it's hard sometimes to see that yes, we are offshore Norway, you're Tietoevry, and so on. We are working very good together as a team, and I think that's the success factor in this. Yes. So reason for success in my mind, we have a long history now since 2017. We built a relationship over time, and of course we have been very happy from our end initially because the delivery has been world class, and we have managed to deliver and actually change the whole industry related to the JQS delivery and also the virtual inventory. And of course, the team from Oleg and Denise I've been working with IT and deliveries my whole career, yeah, I must say that these are some of the smartest and highly skilled people that I've been working with, to be honest. So. Well, if it's a lot of buyers around the table now, these people are mine. So yes, but yes, this is the reason for success. And I think I've been always before I started and work with offshore Norway. My motto has always been that if we work together with a supplier and not always focus on this client customer relationship and so on, I think we are able to create good deliveries. Then we create a team because we're going to do this together, because the suppliers depend on the customer and the opposite, right? And if you understand that together, that if you understand our roles and we are able to deliver according to that, we will create a team, and then we will have a good delivery. So yes, I guess that's it for me. And what you can see here is just some real life examples from some of the services that we have been delivering, where we have been able to keep uptime on some of the assets, and I think that saved a lot of tax money for the government. So it's directly linked to what we are doing here, basically.
Very good. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
And thank you very much. And I have a lot of questions, in fact, but one of them, just before we move on, how many people are you using now from Ukraine, and how do you work? What is the work week? How does it look like to make this thing going? I think maybe someone wonders about that.
Yeah,
because they are down. Yes, come on.
Yeah, first, how many people? Because we work with a core team, the front end team with Denise, and then of course Denise has a lot of developer that we don't talk to every day. But I think overall it's between 20 people or something that is working now. Not all of them full time, I think, but for offshore Norway. And then we have a core team with 5 or 6 people that we communicate with on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
So that's it. And then we have Denise is the focal point of contact for us, for the developers. And then of course we also have some coordinators from Tietoevry in Norway, like Trine Mari and Jan, who is also supporting in the communication process. But a normal working week is we have fixed meetings with my team in offshore Norway and Tietoevry, where we look at progress and so on. And then we have fixed meetings with myself and some of my people and some selected people from Tietoevry and the operators to show, for instance, new features and new functions in the solutions and so on. And we have that. It depends a little bit on the development, but every second week or once a month we have such meetings. And then we have meetings with related to the follow-up of course, around cost and so on with Trine Mari. So we have a weekly report where she presents, okay, this is delivered, this is the focus, and so on. And this is the spending of related to the budget and are we over, under, and these kind of discussions. Yeah, so we have and also all these 5 services that we are working on, they also have their own meetings with the people and representatives from the operators working with that. I'm not involved myself in all of that because that will take too much time, but they also have weekly dialogues and weekly meetings. And it works on Teams. I guess we're all, I think we all work well with teams now after this COVID situation, but also we have some meetings during the year where we are gathered, throughout the week, and we have some workshop, and we also done some social things together. Yes, so that's basically the working, the way we work together. Yes.
Good. I think we stop there for now, and maybe we can take some questions at the end. But it's really interesting to listen to you, and we're doing a lot of great stuff together, and we really appreciate that you take your time here, and also all the deliveries we have done with you over the years. It's important, and it's also as we see cool projects and cool technology. So thank you very much for that. So. We'll talk more about that later. But then we'll move into the deliveries we have in those areas regarding nearshore. So Thomas, will you take over from now? So I can just give you the mouse. So will that work?
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yep.
Yeah. So I will start with some trends we are seeing in Norwegian market now. So we see that some of the Norwegian companies that originally were using for outsourcing of work Asia, they are now moving back to European Economic Area, or that and Ukraine. So we see that a lot of work that has originally came out of the country is coming closer to the country. We also see the same thing, that education cannot meet the demand, and all the companies are actually now hunting for IT experts. So whether it is us as Tietoevry, different units, or it is Offshore Norge and Equinor and other partners that we have, so everyone is looking for more people, as well as our IT competitors like Bouvet. And for some strange reason, Norway and Austria are moving everything into Azure. Other countries, it is more varied, but those two countries, it's almost exclusively going to Azure. And we see that approach to electronization of work, like the processes, digital twins of most things that you can make digital things, and self-service really going over the roof. This is what we see. So this is the project that we actually are now doing the most. So whether it is e-commerce that our customers need some renewal, or they didn't have any, or they would like to have electronic process of their business process, and moving things to public cloud or dedicated cloud. So what we see in the nearshoring market right now, so it's not just Norway where the labor market in IT is hot. It's the same thing all over, at least Europe. So it's the same in Germany, it's in Poland, it's in Czechia, it's Slovakia, also Ukraine, whatever. So that's that. High salary inflation, of course, if you have big demand and you cannot meet the demand, so people are asking for more money. And this attrition has worked quite well during COVID time. So not that many people wanted to switch jobs, but as soon as this ended, it worked basically as a dam that was accumulating water, and now we are filling it to the market. And people now, and that luckily was already standard before COVID, hybrid and remote work preference of people working in IT. And we see also many American companies and European Union companies that are entering Polish and Czech market, establishing new delivery centers, hunting for people, again moving out of Asia, or just the demand is increasing. The things that Olaf was describing, that education cannot keep up, it's quite international problem. So it's not Norway, same thing is, for instance, in US for quite some time already. So So it's out of 24,000 people, we have over 7,000 people in Central Eastern Europe region. That includes Infopulse and Oleg area. We are serving hundreds of customers in Nordics. We usually don't do business in the countries where we have delivery centers. We are funneling this capacity into Nordics because the demand is actually bigger here. And we are the employer of choice in IT companies in Czechia, Poland, and Ukraine. And we are working with multiple technical universities and having hundreds of students that are working on internships or just as a side job during studies. And many of them are starting. Some of my colleagues are teaching at the universities, different subjects. So, and the last bullet I used to have here was top talent for low price, but now I'm saying top talent for reasonable price because it has evolved. This is something about the numbers. Sorry, it just got a little bit mixed, those tabulators, but we are the strongest in those good old development skills, whether it is Java, C, C++, C#, Angular, or other front-end frameworks. We do have quite a few public cloud experts because the demand is high. We are growing our low-code, no-code unit, and we have also a lot of demand for data for this next generation BI, data science, building, reporting on cloud, Snowflake, you name it. So a lot of projects coming this way because we have more and more data, but you need to get some information out of many data that we are getting every day, every minute. And last but not least, security is coming. We have been growing this unit several times and it comes in waves, but it seems that now the demand from the customer is going to be continuous and strong. Comparably to some other countries outside of Europe, or maybe Finland is on par with this type of setup. We are not the quickest to ramp up. We have basically similar labor code limitations as you have in Norway. So notice period is generally speaking 3 months plus minus in all countries. So we can not ramp up from 1 person to 500 in 2 weeks. This is not the job for us, but we are best with going for long haul, and we can sustain ramp ups year after year and grow from 1 person to several hundreds even. And what we see ourselves, like where we add most value, is in the situation when plans are changing and scope is not completely clear. We always find way, and I think it's good with this cultural alignment, and we are also quite good in saying this is a bad thing to do. Let's not do it this way, let's do it the other way, and no, you don't want actually do that or need that, and let's do this. So now in blue you see the countries we are already at, and in this, let's say, darker yellow or kind of amber, this is the countries that we are going to open pretty soon. So by the end of the year, we will open Romania. We also are getting into Italy, southern part, and Portugal. And we see this as kind of solution to the problem that the market is hot and the demand is growing. We have had some discussions with Gartner and similar companies, and it seems that the demand for IT workers in European Economic Area will be increasing by 20 to 30% in the next 5 years. So it was like 10% so far, the year-on-year increase of the needs. And I have started working for this company back in 2004. My first job was for newspaper Bergens Tidende, and I remember we delivered the whole system and supported it in 4 people. This is no longer possible. Everything is much more complicated and you have many more integrations. So average size of even small delivery is now north of 8 people. So even the projects that we used to do and we do now are comparably much bigger. So even the small ones are now bigger ones than it was. In many countries, we started 15 years ago, and we acquired all those thousands of people. Just for information, Czechia alone is 2,800 people, Poland 1,000, Ukraine 2,200, and growing. And we hired it one by one. No acquisition, just by hiring over the years, and people tend to stay with us. So next, and maybe next time I will make this more beautiful. So in the center of the picture, you see my hometown, Ostrava. And there is a funny fact that in circle, if you do it around Ostrava and it is having just 70 kilometers in diameter, there are 14 million people living. So it's almost the same amount of people as Sweden and Norway combined. Yeah. And we have big offices in Wrocław, Krakow, Ostrava, and Brno, which is next to Vienna. And there is 400,000 IT professionals. There are 30 universities which are having 300,000 students, and many of those universities are technical/IT universities. And we have international airports. I myself came on Monday from Krakow to Stavanger, direct flight, and I'm going home also by direct flight. So this all works. And we see for many, many years that we are very good in cooperating, that the differences are not so big. It's actually much smaller than you would imagine. And this geographical closeness is enabling easy and fluent collaboration. So this is what we have. And like I said, many of my colleagues are teaching at those universities, so we know which students are the best. And we are also having a lot of PhD educated people, and some are even professors. So that's that. And I think I will stop there, unless you have any questions.
I can take the questions at the end, maybe, but I think there are some customer stories as well. The next slides, so just I can. This one is for you, Oleg. Yeah. In fact, so.
Yeah. So hello everyone, and for this slide, I would like to highlight and pay your attention of one of the key success factor mentioned by Inge. It's the world class delivery. When we talking about the classical project delivery approach, when project manager communicating to the project manager, business analyst to the business stakeholders and process owners, and then business analyst makes a long document of the requirements, and these requirements pass it to the architect, and architect making the architecture and talking to the only IT people or IT people at customer side, and so on. With this approach, I'm pretty sure, I'm confident that we will never reach these results as a delivery world-class and really great products in time and in budget. I remember 2017 when we started the discovery phase and requirements discovery phase for offshore Norway, and we visited offices of the oil and gas operators with the team, if I'm not mistaken, 6 or 7 people. And team consisted with the UI UX designers, architects, all the key people from the project. And customers were a little bit surprised at why so many people came. But in this case, conducting these workshops, we deeply dived into details. We deeply dived into the customer problem statement, challenges, pains, and so on, asked many questions and so on. And in result, we had a very clear understanding of the business problem. We understand that customer much more than just by reading even the 100 pages requirements and so on. And we applying such model when the fusion team involving the customer customer key people, and we are working together with the solving the customer problems at first and focusing on the customer need. And then as a result, we are more precisely implementing the and solving the customer problem by application. And it leads to the less errors, less reworking, and delivering project on time in budget. And we are applying such approach for all the projects for Norway, and we are applying not only for Norway, we are applying for all the customers in Norway and over the globe for our deliveries. So, and I think it's one of the key success factors that allowing nearshore resources to be efficient players in the such complex projects when we are collaborating with the customer. That's all for this slide. If you have questions, we can answer in I think in the end. And yeah, there is one more slide from Tomasz. Our experience. Yeah, this one.
Yeah, it's just showing the growth we were able to sustain. So we work a lot of big customers. So sometimes in 2 years we grew by 190 people. Sometimes we are able to do at least 110. But I think this the last example is kind of saying the maximum speed of growth. If you have nothing and you want quite big team, then in 6 months we can do it, but we cannot, of course, do in 6 months 100 people or 200. It takes more time, unless you want it full of graduates. But then I don't know what exactly you need. And yeah.
Yeah, this described it very well. Yeah, it was described very well by Ingvar. So for the virtual inventory project, and we are very proud to not only develop the product to the customer, but contribute to the economy share or the sharing economy to the Norwegian continental shelf to reduce their cost, to fulfill the critical material requests quickly and so on. And yeah, we are very proud, not just by developing good product, but for the contribution for the efficient economy, Norwegian economy.
Yeah. License to share, different unit, same client.
Yeah, so yeah.
We can share the slides afterwards if yeah.
Yes, we can.
So we're starting to get to the end. So just to wrap up, we are about on time. So we're trying to keep the schedule in the meeting. But first of all, I will thank everyone who has participated with presentations and shared their experiences, and especially Yngve from Offshore Norge, who are attending as a customer. That's really important for us to involve the customer and share and hear hear what they are doing and how they are happy with our deliveries. That's really good, and I think Yngve made a good impression in that kind of matter. So thank you again, Yngve. To wrap up this, we are doing a lot more and more of this in Norway as well, and we have Thomas and Oleg who are representing both Ukraine and Czech, and they are helping us a lot. So hopefully you have got some information that you can use later, and to dive more into it, I think we need to sit down together and discuss how we could help you with your project and your needs for resources and how we can make it work in the day-to-day business, because that's when that's where all the good things happens from day to day. So just to wrap up, this is just a slide who shows a little bit of what we want to do with the customers, and we want us to be a trusted partner for our clients. That's really important for us. It's so we can help the customer to meet their own goals. That's important. And we need also to be a high competitive and cost-effective partner for our customers. That's also what we want. And we, for sure, and probably the most important part, bring the good consultants or the best skills, the best competence out to the customers. That's really important for us. And we believe in if we can make those projects together with the customers and set those teams up with both in some kind of way Norwegian resources and nearshore resources, that is what we want to do. So I think that is partly the essence of this, and hopefully we could discuss this further later on with you all and make some good stories together. But then if there are any questions before we round off, we can take them now, but we are on time. Karen is pointing at the clock. So if no one has anything to add at the end, I think we will say thank you all for attending this meeting. So any comments, Kåre?
No, just thank you to Yngve and Oleg and Thomas for sharing their stories. Very much appreciated, Yngve and team. So thank you very much.
Okay, and then for now we'll see you later, and there will be more breakfast meetings coming. So stay tuned. Thank you.
Bye bye.